Yeah. Here it trains too, Generation Gorn. Calcat, Rainer Ranchi, and Marlo Facue. Late 2013, 18 months after Optimus Prime was decimated, splintered. Oh yeah, there's music in there. So we have audio on this one, so we can't use any of the footage because there's audio in there. And I just ran over a guy with Danny's kitty car, which was funny. Excellent. Oh, yeah. mm. There's music in there. Yeah. So we have Generation Scorned. One of the better stories that was on last years ago, as a story, not as a live action movie. Yeah. Masterclass on how to make it evil. The far off year 2018, which the Space Bridge saga was sort of a rewrite. And then some of the others were sort of a rewrite. And, with shared hallucinations was a shared rewrite. Well, yeah, so we keep reinventing the story, and parts of it are in Trans Tech as well. So, yeah, we have. Can't use the audio from the movie. No, there's constantly music playing in the background. Apparently, Galvatron has decided he can just kill the humans on the planet. He's blowing up an entire faction of little army men. Ties into Toy Story, you see. Yeah. Yes, because the Ants and Bugs Life thing is, of course, after Toy Story. But yes, yeah, we were talking about that other thing too about the toys, and Mark Cars and I yesterday in the mall. Yeah, the fact that the Cars series, the Cars, we did a version of that, or at least I did, and he did separately back in the day. And it wasn't that the cars were alive; there were supposed to be drivers in them. I thought it was kind of silly that the cars would be alive. And then Transformers came along. Said, yeah, the show didn't. Yeah, and they actually transform into cars, but they're really robots. So the Cars Kitty Cars Disney thing should be Pixar. Should really be Transformers, like just not cars. And they just look like cars when they're in car mode. But they couldn't do Transformers, so they couldn't rip it off. So they did Hot Wheels Heroes basically. And the headlights should be in the not in the brains in the cockpit. That makes sense, but rather in the engine area. The engine would be. Where did all the humans go? Ah, yes, the infamous Jurassic Park music playing over Galvatron being uh, pummeled by rocks and then resurrected as Megatron, but it's the same toy. So we're doing the resurrection thing again, which is surreal. That was in this one. Generation Scorned. Yep. A Generation Scorned. So far, the visuals are visuals. It looks. I mean, for a fan film, it looks like something's happening at least. Cover the guy in rocks. Sure, why not? And then they just screw it up by turning the light sensitivity up again. There you go. Sure. He's cocooned by the evil darkness in the rocks. So yeah. Evil darkness. Transformers. Robots in disguise. Transformers. And then Six Shot is telling Starscream that kill people or why should we? He's like a bounty hunter. Yeah. So, any music in there? I'm gonna make him a slave. Now he's a southern plantation cowboy. And energy, yeah. 18 months. Ew, I couldn't add apparently because the last episode was in 2013 allegedly, and this one's 2018. That's 5 years later, not several months later. I don't know what 18 Earth months. Yeah, I kind of fucked that up. It should be It should be 2014, not 2018. But in the story, it's 2018, so okay, whatever. 18 Earth months. Well, this particular episode wasn't really filmed 18 months later either. It was like right on top of the other one. It wasn't like sufficiently later. We just made it look like it was later. It's only a few months. I think it was like. Jetfire is finally dead. Ew. He has no head. Now there's music in there again. What are you talking about? Mom, come on, quit interrupting. Yeah. So yeah, this is Generation Scorned, and I'm just kind of looking at it. It's not blaster. Ooh. Decimate. Ew, they tore him apart, eating him. Oh my goodness. Torturing the Transformers. Yeah, there's still music in the background. Scattershot is prime and cup. Found dead. This is pretty fucked up. Ah. Yeah, I mean that was dark, twisted, sort of pseudo emo. Yeah, we were poser emos. We were mall emos. We were hot topic. We weren't really goths. We weren't really punks. Ooh, I set them all up and put dust on them and made them look like they're. That's where I left them in the last episode. We're setting that back up after like several months, but it had only been months, and having it look like and making them in the same spot they were before. I thought that was really cool. Oh, and apparently Hungar doesn't like humans. Oh no, it's the infamous cameo by Calcat in here. There's a cameo in here. There's music playing though, so we can't use it. There we go. What are you gonna do? Step on me? Oh shit! Yeah. This one's trying to be dark and twisted and have the Decepticons do twisted things. I look like some kind of weird. I I look like some kind of weird, like, poser rocker guy. Not with that hair, but the beard. Like a weird sort of pseudo beetle. Ew. Yeah, I looked more like a computer programmer than a minion of the minions, formerly the minions. Ew. And Tim, he was going through a bunch of issues in the 90s. Not just that Jim Buffkin was living at the Cantrell's house, but other issues. We won't go into. And so he wasn't around during the 90s. He eventually got married in 1999, straightened out. But yeah, this is 1994, late 93. So yeah, Generation Scorned. It's certainly a little more subdued to this one. That's Jim Buffkin's Fortress Maximus. Sold to me. It was all banged up though. Ew. So yeah, we have a lot of audio in here, so we kind of can't use the audio. Let's see. This scene, they have a space bridge and a spaceship bridge thing. Actually, they've tricked the Decepticons, the dead ones. They're thinking they're dead, but those were like body shells, and they've tricked them. That's the guy. And there's going to be a flashback to the Pact, which rebuilt the entire room in the backyard. Built this elaborate set, took all day, and then destroyed it. I think we left it around for a little while, after the city one. Yeah, then they discover they've been tricked. It's not actually Jetfire. It's another Veritech. Had its head blown off. Oh, they tried to infuse it with another one they had. What? Ooh, a little skull eater in his cockpit. This is really, 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 really silly. Oh, man. It's not Skyfire, oh no. I just figured it out. Oh, transition wipe. Oh, we're gonna have the dream sequence. Why does it have a dream sequence? Why does it have a flashback? I think I was saying about that Eternals movie last night. Or saw it. He also saw Nope, another movie from 2022. Eternals was last year, though, 2021. Marvel was bragging about how awesome their movie was and saying, "Oh, should get Oscars." And then, no, it wasn't that good. They got an Oscar actress directed, but Oscar director directed, but yeah, it's not like Trans Tech Lover won an Oscar. I don't even think it won like a fan film award or anything. The most beloved one is the Transitions one, the Bobby Carruthers, I think. Yeah, Transitions. And that was actually based on someone else's story, so I can't take any credit for it. Yeah, like I can't take any credit for that. I just adapted it. Somebody's Springer fanfic. Yeah. Planet. So here we have so they have the other Jetfire, so they're I thought the Predacon was a Decepticon. And there's music playing. I think it might be Batman or Jurassic Park. Playing. Yeah, so there's music up there. Pretty sure there's music in the background. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you my dream. How biblical. He's Daniel from the Lions. There's some church related stuff. Mythos, or That's odd. Oh, wow. Hmm. It just saved the Autobots. Yeah, they're just. Yeah, they're just like they realize they've been had. The pact thing. The pact. Yeah, there's definitely music in there. Yeah, I want to have the music in there. So yeah, probably throughout. But here is the. This is just surreal. There's just no other way to describe the surrealness of this. Um, they're trying to reactivate the Fortress Maximus thing. And it's broken. The idea is that the Nebulons are all killed. So the useless headmasters and target masters, if they were all killed, their heads are just going back to being heads again. Kind of what they did with Combiner Wars later on. Huh. So yeah, they weren't aware of the video versions of these, really. Until Transtech, of course, which alluded to the same things. Because, yeah, Transtech has been, the 20 to 24 episodes that are online, have been online since 2012. So anything the other guys thought of, they could have watched it. It's been watched by hundreds of people. They totally could have watched it. So yeah, that version of it, they cribbed from it. Because it has been online since 2012 and then 2014. Yeah, so there's a version of it out there. This is the early version. Blue guy having more lines. Oh, the blue guy Minotaur thing. Doing a retake of that scene we already did, but shot better. In the backyard, and that looks like a decimated landscape. It still looks like a backyard, but it's better than a park. It's sanded it. You have betrayed them. So I will kill you now. Generation Scorned. Except in this one, he sort of warns him about it. You know, kind of stuff. I could go on saying about all the other stuff, but at this point, kind of run out of other things. So, just kind of observing what's going on and trying to figure it out. So he flies away in this version to the city, I guess to try and activate it. They're trying to rebuild the city. And then there's Hungar who shows up. I still didn't get that. Don't film them from the sky above them like a crane. It looks really bad. I still didn't get that, even then. They need to be in an overhead crane shot. It looks cool. It kind of doesn't look cool. You can't tell who's saying what. And since the mush, yeah, was stories. It's different. Yeah, the mush was stories. So the mush. Old Transformers mush. Mushy. And then they found the remains of the chrysalis of Galvatron. I'm not Galvatron anymore. I'm Megatron. Oh, are you? Well, you were Galvatron a minute ago. You're kind of rewriting the what was it? Chihuahua 1, kind of. So now when Galvatron had been destroyed and presumed dead, and this one they just sort of show that before they go on to the other stuff. Comes back to the Megatron. They show that. Okay. Because in Generation 2, they made a Generation 2 Megatron out of the European tank Megatron, G.I. Joe Megatron. They had that. I added one of him later in the stories. Used him in Carda's, that Carda bad guy battleship. But he was a Megatron. They did make some Generation 2 figures. They just repainted a few of the old ones too, and included some of the Europe. They had the giant black Starscream, which I got. The Megatron is green. Some of the Dinobots were painted blue. There was this Starscream was supposed to be Ramjet, I guess. So they brought it back as Ramjet as purple. They later reworked her as Slipstream, which makes more sense. So yeah, and they re-released the in the Transformers Earthrise line the G2 Megatron, and Laser Optimus Prime. They had that, but he's much smaller now. He's like smaller. He's just a mini con almost. He's much smaller. Yeah, the scale's got all weird. I guess because plastic was harder to come by. It's weird. That G1 Astro Train is roughly like, you think that guy's really tiny there, but actually the newer ones, the bot ones are car ones are in scale with that G1 Astro Train. They're quite short. Yeah, so there was a period where they made lots and lots of plastic toys, but then they cut back. Combiner Wars made all the big ones. That was cool. So yeah, Combiner Wars. Combiner Wars. What are you? What is he doing? What? That's Insecticons. Haven't seen them in a while. Well, what they're up to. Something evil. There's music. Yep. Dang it. They came from another era, so there's like time warps going on in the story. Yeah, there's time warps in it. Which was a fan favorite thing to do. Like, oh, we want to retcon the Transformers, so in my fan fiction, Optimus Prime is evil or something. Or in my fan fiction, some of the Autobots are evil. They come wreckers. And, oh, okay. The Decepticons, right near what appears to be some more cat or dog poo. Oh. Ooh, it's really obvious in the shot there. Oh, didn't get any of those toys in that. Oh. Ooh. There's like literally like cat or dog poo right there. Anyway, then there's mind wipe, trying to mind wipe Zap Skyfire, I guess. Not sure why he would need to do that, but okay. And his head is permanently like. What's I doing? Certainly different. It's supposed to be a whole hour of 3-part episode, sort of like some of the GI Joe and Transformers episodes, 2 or 3 parts. But yeah. It has been edited to exclude screw ups. Not a whole lot of rainbow noise. That's kind of a cool shot. And yes, as you can see, the Dutch angles, reminiscent of the Michael Bay Transformers movies. I thought of that. I didn't really. He just thought of the same thing. So yeah, there's Jetfire. centered there. Well, then it screwed it up, made it blurry. We're trying to figure you out, Skyfire, but yeah, kind of what's going on is they plotted their revenge on Jetfire, even though they didn't explain why they wanted revenge on him, except he's an Autobot. Their plan is kind of silly, but yeah, and there's crosshairs. So there's like, oh, they captured Mindwipe. Okay, prisoner. Tell him not to be attacked. So is Jetfire the Autobot leader de facto in this story? Guess so. Jetfire's prime. Ew, I think they cut the dream sequence out. Because I don't think it's in here now. Just as well, because it was nonsense. There's new Cartas in it. Makes sense. So apparently the Decepticons are running around on the planet, and they're sad because the generation is scorned, and Galvatron is allegedly dead, even though the other ones know that he's alive. They found him. So the twist is that he's still. But the Optimus Prime has been burned, and they don't go back for his parts apparently. There's a Dutch angle. I figured, you know what? Why don't we make his hands move around? They weren't very articulated in the leg. Clang. This is actually pretty funny. Yeah. Transformers. I guess they're figuring out what to do with him or something. Nope. Oh, music immediately. The Micromasters were destroyed. Now I'm going to tell you about the dream sequence with bad musical stingers. Because, yeah. When I said about fan film and fan film making and fan story, well, when you're doing a film. In a story, you wouldn't have theme music in the background unless you printed it out. But yeah, do Transformers or Star Trek or any fan film, and you're celebrating the show that you're doing, don't use their theme music. Try not to. I mean, really, just do your own. Get your own. Also, because YouTube will flag it. But use your own. As I learned from these, using copious amounts of Batman, Jurassic Park, and the Transformers the movie theme, makes you want to stop watching and watch Batman, Jurassic Park, and the Transformers movie theme. Instead, listen to that instead of watch this thing. So, yeah. Oh, Jetfire. This is probably the spring. Yeah, I think this was done in spring. I think this is really only 3 months after the other scene. I didn't leave the toys out in the dirt. I just put them back in the dirt and filmed it. But yeah, the Crosshairs wasn't one of the original. From that other. He's a G1, but he wasn't one of the original other guys. And then we got to another scene in on the fort. And Michael Bay, Dutch ankles. Yeah. Michael Bay was a student of Transtech who watched it. The first one, at least. Of course, the Michael Bay movie came out by 2007. So he watched the first one on video, DVD, and probably the early YouTube version of that one. We thought, yeah, that's how you do a Transformers movie, Dutch ankles. No, that's not how you do it. Lots of Dutch angles, yeah. I think what happened there, though, is he would film scenes. It's not entirely what Michael Bay did, because he would film a bunch of scenes where things blew up and set off a bunch of pyrotechnics and blow stuff up. And he would just blow up things. And that's the way he would do it. 3 minutes. And play. Alright, so, yeah, Motor Master is going to meet up with Galvatron. And he has been reborn. And yeah, I was talking about the cities being an odd scale. Metroplex was short as a toy. He wasn't any, still a little bit bigger than Power Master Prime as a toy. Fortress Maximus was 2 feet tall, and that was amazing back then. $100 Transformer, who ever thought? You know, Triptychon was about 60. Yeah. Scorponok was about 60, roughly. Oh, yeah, the other cities were odd. Triptychon, they were thinking of Godzilla. Fortress Maximus, like they wanted to make him more like the main city thing. And now I'm crushing Veritex and stuff. Oh no. But yes, the rebuilt Pact City sequence, which is briefly seen there. Oh, Galvatron flying over to them. It's very elaborate. The Constructicons were, yeah, I said that on the other one, they were really the wrong scale. They were based on the build team, that guys, the Haratomi guys. Really not the right scale, and one Predacon. Ew. Ah. Some Nicarta in there. We got Blitzwing, Scratcher, could fly, and a cat. Yeah. And you know, a Transmetal Cheetor could also fly. So, yeah, another thing. Predicting that. Probably not predicting now. Bob Ford and them were familiar with. Oh, flying cat, that'd be fine. They're familiar with that. So let's say they were just familiar with it. You know, just Rolling Stone crushing with a rock. Ooh. Bussybot. Bussy Man was based on a Jason Cranston character, and Gunship as well. Both were Carda built for the story. The Carda robots return, yay! And Carda the Return. Oh yeah, this is just before Carda the Return. So these guys are going to Carda the Return before you Trans 2. I don't know. Well, they're all gonna end up on the disc. So I think there's music on this. So, yeah. I think there is. Yeah, there probably is music. Yeah, I'm going to assume there's music, because Jetfire shows up to fight Galvatron. There's probably like the Touch playing or something. And probably Batman. Yeah. High tech. I built my own cardboard Transformers. Ew. Bussy Bot. I thought it would be funny if there was a transit bus one. I wasn't the only one though, because I rode the transit bus to and from junior high and high school, and some of college too. So a lot of college too. So I thought it would be funny if like there was a transit bus Autobot, Bussy Bot. There was a school bus man too that was based on Onslaught's form. Just the size. Not that that wasn't his backstory. It's the size of Onslaught. So they're beating up. They got Fortress Maximus animated. It's just a headless zombie, knocking people off the set. Mindless zombie. Oh, we fall right on the guy. Oh, this is actually the end of this. I guess there must be half an hour of screw ups and outtakes or something. But yeah, namely the dream sequence. This kind of has elements of that in it. Mind Wipes telling Galvatron about how he resurrected him with his powers of darkness to bring him back. And Galvatron didn't care. He pip slapped him. Nowadays, they'd call that a Will Smith on Chris Rock pip slap. Because at the Oscars, Will Smith, the actor, slapped comedian Chris Rock for insulting his wife's hair, or lack thereof. A strange thing to do at the Oscars. But apparently he wanted attention, so that's why he did it. I mean, he didn't. He had too much booze that night, I guess. So yeah, attack with the rocks. It's probably gonna wreck half the Transformers. So yeah, the Transformers are continuing with their weird sort of fight thing. Okay, we are recording again, and this is from roughly 35 minutes, 36 seconds, 37 seconds during the weird part. Yeah, and we are watching Transformers Generation 2, so yeah. Oh, yeah. Generation Scorned, one of the more famous ones. Definitely a very cool title. Oh, very well done. Yeah, so we have the Transformers beating each other to a pulp. And then we have a finger as a missile. Yeah. He's doing SNL crushing your head thing. Yeah. So, Galvatron just went out of focus. Yeah, so we built this elaborate set and then filmed on it in the evening. And, yeah. Pact stuff. You know, Galvatron wasn't originally in the Pact back in the day. I'm not sure what it is with the finger, except to point out stuff. That maybe it's a finger of God. Anything else there? Not sure. Yeah, so trying to figure out what's going on here. More so than narrating it, because it's really like how are they, yeah. This is the final battle scene, I believe. And I think what's supposed to be going on is that Fortress Maximus has grabbed Galvatron. I didn't think to put a glove on that at least looked something like a glove and like strangle him. Well, strangle him so much it's because he's got him by the waist. No, like crush his pelvis, I guess. Transform him into a gun. And, yeah, so then we've got some other guys deciding they need to beat up on everyone. There's one Autobot there. With Twin Twist, the shelf warmer. They made Combiner Wars versions of those, the Headmaster versions, later on in that series, and the Twin Twist one was really hard to find. Top Spin, but not Twin Twist. Yeah. And the other one was like a Walmart exclusive, and it just happened to be to Walmart. Oh shit! Wrapped it. The twins there too. Oh. Yeah, usually you get the toys on Amazon. You don't even go on eBay. You get them on Amazon. Another thing didn't exist back then. And they've crushed the base, rendered it destroyed, and also gave away the shot by having the city standing there afterward in the shot. That's the city that knocked it over, so yeah, ruined the shot, but oh well. The creation of Metrorex prequel to follow at some point. This is Generation Scorned, and it was originally in its original form was about an hour, and the edited down version is about 40 minutes. Looks like, which is not bad considering where this came from. So yeah, probably still have music in here. Yes. Music playing in the background. Well, we can't use that. So yeah, the Transformers have thrashed the base and decided that they've destroyed them all and now they're crushed. So I don't care. And what's funny is they didn't bring back Optimus Prime in this one. They continued on doing their own thing. The Cardo were rebuilt for this one too, so they could be in Cardo Return. So I guess chronologically wise, it should probably go on to Carta the Return next after this, and then go on to the third season when it was canceled halfway through for the next last hour, and then the City that Time Forgot. But when I download them, it'll all just be these are the ones that came out. Yeah. City that Time Forgot. Generation Scorned. They've destroyed all the humans. There were a couple of fan stories about that. They destroyed everyone on Earth and left it decimated and destroyed. Angst in our hearts. Yeah, there was a lot of angst in those stories. A lot of self-projection in Mary Sue's. Mostly the guys wouldn't write a Mary Sue. They would write, it's depressing. The Transformers sucked during the early 90s because of that other thing that happened. So this story, they just all die. Flaming destruction of angst. Ew, and I'm not spoofing that here. I'm just doing my own version of that. It's not like I'm making fun of that. Really not. I'm just like, I knocked this guy off. The old nasty chair from Howard's house. Wow. It's surreal. Certainly, in the back of this, it's just surreal. There's just so much to unpack. That was it. All right, we're going to go on to the bloopers. And characters. This is 1993 still. So, yeah. A few months. I think it was a few months after the other one. The other one was like late December, and this one was February or March. So it was a little bit later. Late December of the previous year. March. That's what happened. Calicat 93 series. All because Generation 2 was really poorly executed. They had other guys too. They had Micromasters and Pretenders and other versions of the Headmasters, but they just didn't do it right. They just didn't. And Raina Ronchi is in the studio to explain the bloopers to us here. So. You can explain the bloopers. I can't explain the bloopers. The credits. We just decided not to use that for introducing Fruity Guy as Starscream. He is still around. He still does the characters on the show. Yep. Transformers Generation 2. I thought it would be funny to have him be a fruity guy. Oh, fuck you. Raina Runchi, of course. Oh, yeah. Seen briefly in a scene in Starcrackers. It's a little after Starcrackers. 18 months have passed since Optimus Prime was destroyed. Galvatron and his minions have returned to the Earth to plunder the energy on the planet. Ooh. Six-Shot and his buddies are scavenging on the planet Char. And so, now begins the 3 final episodes of Trans 2 in 1993. Yeah, sure, and President Clinton won't raise taxes. What a story contains violent mutilations and splattering humans. Just simulated. Over 17. It was PG-13. Yeah. So, here's some bloopers. The dream sequence. Yeah, we couldn't use the dream sequence. It was basically a commercial for Carta 2 The Return. And I was like, why is this in here? No, take that out. So we had to take it out. So, yeah. Yeah, so. And then there's. So they convince him to do what they're going to do, and then they sort of leave. I'm not convinced. But I have seen Jetfire's schlong. That was one of the fembots in the Transformers remake. Mesh, all Transformers Mesh was in there. One of them was a Night, not Night Racer. That wasn't Night Racer. That was MC. We bought. Let's see, Kim. Yeah. I think that was Lancer, and it was one of the other guys. Yeah. Ooh. So yeah, it appears that there's a technical difficulty. Just it didn't look like anything. The dream sequence. That looked fake. The Pact of Autobots. Yeah. And Bussy Man. Bussy Man was invented by Jason Cranston. Somebody from Pine Hill decades ago. Kid at the time. Roughly Mark Scars's age at the time. He invented that before he going on to. Years later, it was found on the internet as an adult on MySpace. Something called MySpace. It's now gone. It's sort of like Facebook today with MySpace. Yeah. He called me the Robotech god because he knew everything about Robotech. But I was merely studying the stories. I didn't. Not an expert. But now I've become an expert. So. But yeah, it also helped to have gone to a convention where Carl Masek and Armand Argama actually talked. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this didn't work. Carta and all of Carta the Return is all music that we took from Frank Zappa. I thought it would be funny. Needless to say, we can't use any of that. So double over that, like we're doing here. Because yeah, it was part of the reason there weren't any of these made. Or commentary on all these because there was no point in doing that. After a while, it becomes redundant. Oh, shit. The fembots. Ew. One of my characters did appear in a Calcat Milan parody. Yeah. And Hunchback of Notre Dame parody, too. And we got to say, it wasn't me though, it was one of the other ones, got to say the line, how could they be geishas? Because in the Milan cartoon, there was a scene with the geishas, so it didn't make sense because they were in China, ancient China during the Wen Dynasty, so it didn't make any sense that there was dressing them up in geisha paint and stuff. The live action one doubled down and it put them in kimonos. Making fun of both of those things. And yeah, I hadn't seen the kimono one at that point, so I was making fun of the earlier one. And so in All Transformers Much, there was a scene where they paint up Scout, one of the Autobot guys, to look like a geisha. They put Scout in geisha paint, and laughed about it because it was funny. Because he too was technically not Japanese, American Transformer. The Michael Bay era Transformers, like Scout, who was basically one of the Knight Prime, is very American. But yes, odd that the Michael Bay universe, including Transformers Prime, made Unicron in the Earth. That was odd too. But then there was somebody who did a full rundown of the Milan movie, reviewing it, and she was a no play actress. She analyzed the whole thing on YouTube, and she had heard this geisha paint thing, not just from CalCat, but from other people, and she's all, okay, I want to say something about the geisha paint scene and all that. Actually, the American one, the remake, they do worse. They do one more worse than that. The paint's not the right kind for geisha or the other kind. And not only that, but they put them in kimonos, and that's just wrong. They wouldn't have been wearing Japanese kimonos. Yeah. They would have been wearing Win Dynasty clothing, with long robes and stuff. Those hats with the thing points on the end. Hat things. Because they're not Japanese. Yeah, Transformers are supposed to be Japanese. Yeah, in the 90s, another thing we didn't know about was the Kiss players. They're sort of an in between, the slashy in between Transformers manga. I didn't know about that at that point. It's kind of funny because it was, well, they weren't funny, but it was funny that it was slashy. Yeah. Probably best not to look up Transformers Kiss players. Don't do it. Don't. Just don't. Oh my gosh. Oh. Now you're gonna want to. No. Rule 34. Transform. Well, you know what they said back in the day. First things to appear on the internet: porn and Star Wars and Star Trek. And then porn and Star Wars and Star Trek porn. Rule 34. Although they call it Rule 34, but the 34th rule of acquisition is war is good for business. It's not the right word. If anything, Quark in the 90s should have said, no, Rule 34 is there's porn of it always. Yes, that's correct Rule 34. But even they didn't know because they had a pocketbook called Rule 34. It's the trouble with these bloopers is the Dutch angles. Yeah, Michael Bay must have seen this. Oh my goodness. The bloopers. So yeah. The geishas were courtesans of state, of warriors of state. So they would, in ancient Japan in the feudal times, they were of course the American sailor guys were kind of that visited there were kind of assholes, and they would think that they were some sort of prostitutes, but they weren't. That wasn't the prostitute, and they would get in trouble. No, they were state courtesans. They were escorts, but you weren't supposed to sleep with them. That was forbidden. Yeah. Also, they tended to sit on the ground and little mats and stuff. Yeah, there's Korean stuff in here. Yeah, well, there should be Korean stuff. And so on. There's elements of Jung Swan and mysticism in here, which is kind of fun. Sort of a weird combination of Christianity and Buddhism and Taoism thrown in all together. Transformers having this epiphanies all the time and seeing things that are, not of this world or whatever, and the space deities and stuff. It's all good fun, I guess. The Six Shot was kind of amazing in the 80s, considering that toy, the Six Changer toy. It's kind of a cool idea. One of the cooler things I did in the end of G1 there, fourth season. Six Changer. They made a newer version. They made a Combiner Wars one, but he was so hard to find and so expensive that you can't find him. So I redid Double Dealer too, which was fun. At that point, I had Tim's Double Dealer. I eventually did give him back, though. Yeah, got one for myself. Eventually, I did get all of the Predacons. Original G1 Predacons. Predaking. Put him in a display case for a while. Jim Tricon came over, because he was known to have broken his. So you can't play with him. You can only look at him. You know what you'll do to him? He's next to my God Ginrai Optimus Prime, which I found at the mall. The Great Mall had like a Japanese toy store back then, and they had a God Ginrai Master Force Prime, Power Master Prime. Over there is a Power Master Prime was a different guy. It's not Optimus Prime. It's like some other guy that looks like him, like God Ginrai. And I had to get him because he was all silver, super armored up and silver armored. So I had to get him. Power Master Prime with extra armor, make him even bigger. And Tim said, "Oh, that's just overkill, man." Oh, he's got him guns. Oh, so yeah, that's just overkill. Oh, there's other footage out in the lawn with Quick Switch. Yeah, Quick Switch was never explained. It's supposed to be Six Shot's son, allegedly. It's supposed to be Six Shot's son. So there's this part in the other story where there was like, Six Shot basically said, I got a hold of RC and used her. It's like, oh, you robo rape. No, we're not doing that. He only described it, though. He only talked about it. But still, ew. Ew. That sounds like something more like Shockwave would do in the other fan film. And then we spelled Roxy's name wrong twice, adding an extra H before the A or after the A, and then retconned that in a later story, and they not starting something much by saying there are two of them, one with the H and one with the other H. No, it was we spelled it wrong, but we just retconned it. There was actually a twin sister we didn't know about. As is common in sci-fi fantasy movies, there's always an evil twin brother. They always do that story, always. But what she needed, though, was a goatee. So that should be like Spock, evil Spock. Oh, man. So this is an alternate version of that scene with Mind Wipe. Well, mainly the dream sequence is what the flashback was. Bloopers for like 10 more minutes. That's mainly what this was. More exposition about Jetfire's returning and tricking Mind Wipe. Didn't work, so yeah. But yeah, it's weird. Michael Bay must have known somehow. I'm not sure how he did. I think there was an early version of this channel. The trans stuff was on that other channel, on with Starcrackers, in 2009 or so, or 2010 on YouTube. So it's entirely conceivable they all could have watched it. Versions of it, just took notes. And that channel is gone. That was the Klecken channel. That was KATS 1A or something. Well, that's gone. It's been since supplanted by others. But yeah, it was a different channel. It was, yeah. It's been since taken down. It was the Jane Foster channel too. This one. The original channel that aired the original stuff was Sap One Productions stuff. Yeah, it was a different group, PSAs or something. Yeah, hard to find that one nowadays. at that early footage. You can see the early Cat show, but a lot of that stuff got cut out. And now some of it's been improved. It's been re-released on the Kitty Key channel, so you can go there and see some of the Brown Productions on location stuff over there. And it can get on location on Amazon, and you can get on Amazon all the Cat books. He's written over 40 books on Amazon, with some of them with Mark's cards. The Cillian Realms, Star Crackers, Space Guards. It's what it's called now. Distant Destinies, which is called Canary Space, Space Time Eye short story collection, Cillian Realms, and no Transformer stuff because all of that was other people. We adapted other people's mush. But this was ours, so we decided to put up this because this is our videos. There were storybooks made of them later on and put on the mush. And Generation Scorned was the premier famous one people remember. Generation Scorned. So that's the one we want to see. Although with this commentary track, I think it's just the idea of Generation Scorned because the story, let me call it the sense. I mean, it's sort of a rewrite of the final adventure, kind of. And it's War with Cybertron, definitely War Within as well. But it's kind of baffling.